We are live. Between the software and YouTube, so we'll just give it a couple of minutes to see who pops in. If there's anyone, let me know. Babe, you got your headphones on? Can you hear me?
It just barely started.
Yeah, there's a second delay between the software and YouTube, so. So when you can hear me, let me know if you can hear me. From there. We got a couple people in here now. Audio because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes I need to throw in earbuds. So, in here, can you hear me with clarity? Or do I need to throw? I know. Throw it in the chat. I think I might have to throw the buds in. Are you getting anything over there, babe?
It's buffering a lot, but that could be our internet.
It's buffering.
It's a
Bit choppy.
Yeah.
Let's try the headphones. Unfortunately, because we live in the middle of nowhere, our uploads insanely horrible. So if image quality is less than stellar, I apologize. Audio usually is spot on, even if the image is. How is that now? Better video?
I mean, I can hear you. It just keeps buffering.
Both within the headphones and without?
Without.
Was it clear with headphones or without?
It's hard to tell because it just keeps buffering.
Oh. Well, it's been a crazy few weeks here on the homestead, especially after being down and out for almost 12 days with pneumonia. 6 days of nonstop fever. That was a lot of fun. No, it was actually horrible. Over your stream can have all the bandwidth. You might have to not stream, babe, so we're not sucking up internet. So I think we only get maybe 0.6 to 0.7 megabytes per second upload speed, like the fastest we can get. A lot of people have suggested like switching over to HughesNet versus the local company, but you know, it's about the same price and isn't any faster out here at all. Fortunately, and I don't even know why this is the way it is, because I got a new laptop over Christmas, but for for some reason this 5 plug, so I can't hardline into the internet. I have to do everything over Wi-Fi, which makes no sense. I don't know why they wouldn't put a Cat 5 plug on a laptop. Sometimes you need to hardline. It's just how it is. But apparently, tech industry is moving 100% towards wireless. So it is what it is. We do our best, do what we can. We're still choppy out there. Am I timing out, freezing? Can anyone out there in YouTube leave a comment? We'll see where. But doing a lot better since the whole pneumonia episode. Obviously, losing 12 days is a lot of lost work to catch up on. We're doing what we've been doing very well. We're still catching up on that. Fortunately, we had a whole crap load of extra starts, and he gave us a bunch of tomatoes, peppers, and bean plants. So I don't know what happened with this year, but we started over hundreds of tomato seeds, and so far it's been a nightmare. So, but have a successful germination and had a whole bunch of extra. So we did get some tomatoes and multiple different types of pepper plants in the garden, probably here in the next couple of weeks. So it'll be nice to, fresh vegetables and greens and so on and so forth out here. It's that time of year. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Are you still on, Baber? Okay. Try not to suck up as much bandwidth as possible, so like the whole household is like bam. So hopefully video is not choppy for everyone. And I'm sure it's probably still choppy, so hopefully the audio is good. Yeah. If the audio is good, if the video is bad, put a number 2. So, yeah. I hope everyone else is doing well out there in the world, wherever you guys are and you live, and not the Rona, and stayed healthy through this whole situation of madness. Quite overwhelmingly ridiculous, to be honest, but it is what it is, and we do what we can when we're thrown into these. Doing good in South Dakota. All right. How's the weather? I know that the upper end of the breadbasket has been getting hammered with all kinds of weird weather, and just recently with that mad cold snap. I forgot what the exact phrase they call it came through, but a lot of chatter that a lot of people through that area have lost a lot of stuff to unseasonally frosts. So getting better. Part, man, we've been drier than hell out here this spring. I mean, this time last year, well, actually, in comparison, it was kind of a 20-year storm. We were cold and wet this time last year, and it ruined a lot of people's crops. But this year, we're rainstorms since February. I mean, it is dry, bone ass dry. The weeds are dying. That's how dry it is, which is crazy. Because out here, like Russian knapweed, thistle, and kochia, like those are some of the main weeds out here, and they just grow insane. And even those are dying right now because obviously it has like 15-foot deep roots, so it taps into water wherever it can. It's so invasive, so hard to get rid of. We had a week of 60, 70, 80, then got snow. You got snow in 20, 30 and warming, but rainy daily. Those are crazy. I'm assuming those are your temperature fluctuating all over the place. All over the place. Not good for a growing season at all. I mean, that's out, and that's got to be a struggle. I don't know if you've got a garden out there, man, but I'm sure it's caused some serious issues. I mean, we even had some weird cold snaps here through that. I guess that's what it was called, a nor'easter. About 3 or so weeks ago, we had a weird, crazy cold snap come through here. So some of the food, especially like squash, pickles, and a few other things like that, tomatoes and peppers, even in the greenhouse frost cloth, it still got cold enough that those plants froze and died. I mean, that's a dang frost cloth, and they still froze. That's just nuts. And then a couple weeks after that, we had another cold snap. You comment on that one. I eventually figured it out and went back through temperatures in my potatoes. It actually ended up dipping into almost like 26 degrees because my thermometer that I have that's outside is actually in the greenhouse. So I didn't put two and two together at the time. So my potatoes had a problem. A hailstorm destroyed my. Oh man, that hail is brutal, man. When that stuff starts coming down, it's like a machine gun of BBs on it. It's devastate anything with a leaf in a matter of minutes when that stuff is just pounding. I was trout fishing 2 feet deep snow while raining a horrible downpour. Well, I guess the most important part is, did you get fishing and go home with a good fish haul? I mean, if you did, then that made it worth it. If you got skunked, I'm fucked, man. No, I just dropped the bomb. I try not to do those on YouTube. Shit. Yeah, well, it does. We call them cold sinks out here, and unfortunately, kind of where we have our garden is a cold through the middle of the property, so we get what I call, the lake effect off the creek because there's water, so that cold just rolls right in, and it's a constant battle being in the high desert because we have hot as hell days in the spring. It's just how it is. High desert. You limit it out. That's good, man. What's the limit out there where you're at? I know out here we're depending on the trout, we're depending on the type of trout, maybe 8, but what's the elevation there too, where that lake's at? What type of trout? So I know those high lake trouts, they're so much better. They have way less of that crazy fishy. The trout here, one of our lakes that we fish at, it almost tastes like salmon. It's all pink. There's no fish flavor at all. It's crazy for 5 trout per person, and that's not a bad limit out. Can you get a 2-pole permit where you live? Usually doubles your limit. Well, at least out here. Oh, we got an old face in the crowd here. Pop that up on the screen real quick. What's up, brother? If you want to pop on, I can send you a link and we can chat or whatsoever. But this was just a kind of hang out and chill. But if you want to come on and chat with me, green, let me know. Either way, doesn't matter. Glad you're in here, though, bro. Appreciate it. We have rainbow, brown, wild brook. Man, those are all great trouts, my friend. Browns are the best, personally. I love a trout. Limits per person? That sucks. It's out here and it doubles our limit. And kids under 16 fish for free, and they can still limit out too. So both my kids, give each of my kids a pole, and then I get a 2-pole permit, and let my wife man one of them. Should just get her, and we can end up with anywhere from 18 to 24 fish to limit out and go home with. Oh, small world, my friend. Nice. Find a little bit of irony in that, but I assumed you were ex-military because of who extreme. I'm in a common phrase for someone who wasn't in the military. How big did the walleye get out there? I mean, we got some lakes and some good walleye, and they can get up to a good 20, 30 pounds with gnarly ass sharp teeth. That's crazy. You got any pike out there too? Usually where we're at, like pike fishing is hard because they only come into the shallowers or the shallow depth, and that spawning window is really short, and that's really the only time that you can catch them off the bank. Otherwise you got to have a boat. Hey, brother. It's we're doing well. I mean, doing a lot better after healing up from the and whatnot. That was a rough ride, but we're doing a lot better. Just got a lot of work to catch up on now, so driving me crazy. Get that to go away. A 40-inch pike? Damn. Did you make a record? That's a good question, man. Pop that up. if anything, I mean, I would say probably the biggest thing, exposure, just the experience, Gary reiterating something in my head that what other people think doesn't really matter. I think way too many of us get hung up on that, the nuance and what other people think. And I think him just explaining that, and I do a lot better in lives. It is way uncomfortable to a camera, like talking to a camera. That is, at least for me, a very uncomfortable scenario, because it's to a person, or what you think or perceive as a person, because it's a camera, and then there's no facial expression there, so it climbs up and it makes it hard to think of what I'm trying to accomplish when I'm speaking and finding those words. I think the biggest thing from it is just, not giving a shit and just being comfortable, being self, and not caring, and after getting out there and actually doing it and being, it's gotten 1,000 times easier to just be me and talk to a camera. Unfortunately, like, you guys are still interacting with me, so it's a slightly different scenario than being solo with the camera. So I guess the fear of being alone with the camera has ultimately it's gone now, and it's not an it. I think that was the biggest issue. But good question. I mean, and it was a great experience, and Gary has a way to just drop, whether you're willing to admit it or not. Just hits home, and you have no way of when he spits it at you. Yeah, the video, and I really apologize for that. The audio, I hope, is still staying seamless, but we only get megabyte per second upload speed here, and that's about the fastest internet we can get until like satellite internet or something, or what we can really do about that to, fix the upload speed. I've got everyone just right now, not using internet to try to increase that speed. Although I didn't think about it, your parents being on that probably has helped. Oh, she's not? Okay. So it's just, we live in the middle of nowhere out here, and internet sucks. I apologize for choppy video. I just hope you guys can hear me well. So, and thank you. Yes, I'm feeling way better. Say hi to Mike for me. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Elevate. Let me just throw that up so everyone can see what you're asking. Know what you're saying. I feel like I need a camera. Yeah. And that's really kind of how it is. It's easier to interact with someone than interact with an but once you kind of start doing it, it does get easier and easier to organize your thoughts and convey your message at the same time too. So starting, and someone might struggle with it, much like I did. It does get easier over time for sure. Yeah, who elevation? You're 3,500. I guess 3,500, but you're farther north. Your latitude's probably what? 2 here, so you're probably what, 90, 94 latitude? Or am I thinking in reverse? I'd have to look at the map, sorry. Appreciate that, Elevate. Yeah, 7,200. So like out here where we're at, even though it's a desert, we're high desert. So we're at 5,000 feet right here. And it's, I don't know, it's not bad. I mean, our winters don't really start until December. And by mid-February, most of our snow is usually gone into what I call an early spring. So there's some days in February it's t-shirt weather. So we only get an actual brutal cold where it's cold all day and cold all night with snow. So, and during the day, but really cold at night. And then December to February, it's cold all day, all night. And then into mid-February again in cold nights. And into March, we're usually starting to put stuff in a greenhouse to start our growing season. So 44 north. So yeah, I was thinking weird. uh, You're in your bedroom just above sea level there, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Literally, your bedroom is 8 feet above the sea. Hope you don't mind. It's that time of night. Work's over, at least for now. I know Keely and Mike they're growing food. Is anyone else out there growing gardens this year? And if so, what do you, or in a greenhouse or in a window seal or in your basement? Whatever. However, hydro, outdoor, hydro, in the soil, in the greenhouse. Just for personal, or do you sell microgreens? But and what kind? What are you growing microgreens? What's your favorite on top of it? How's it going? Thanks for popping in. I know the video's choppy. I apologize. We have shitty internet, but I hope you guys can still hear me. You have a man cave that your girl thinks is it. She took it over pretty much like the bedroom. Not to offend any women out there, I apologize. Radishes and speckled peas. Yeah, they're delicious. Daikon radishes are actually good for really dense, like caliche type soils because of how deep those roots penetrate, and then it just adds a crap ton of organic matter back to your soil. While they are delicious, but they're actually super beneficial to conditioning a garden in its soil as well. First time growing microgreens? Radish. Oh, so you're on the radish as a microgreen. I see. Does it still have that like spice when you eat the microgreens? Because I know a lot of the microgreens I've eaten that are radish varieties, they're super like nutty at first, and it has that spicy aftertaste. But I like it. So amaranth is really good. And I'm sure if you don't know amaranth, if you grow it out, its seeds make a really good grain that you can mill and make flour. Its leaves are essentially, it's like a really mild spinach. Well, hey, Elevate, I appreciate that. I was considering getting off after about 30 minutes. We might hang on for another 30 and see what happens. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Tastes like a radish, but not too strong. Yeah, that's pretty much the same. I like the radish microgreens. I think they're really good. I like that tang and spice they kick out. Kind of like as arugula ages, it gets a little more like mustard greens too. Mustard greens are really good. There's a slew of variety of mustard greens out there that almost touch flavor palette that you can possibly think of. It's crazy. You know, you can go from nutty to spicy to mushroom, woody. It's crazy. You know, the different flavors that you can get out of all kinds of different leaves. Oh yeah, it's a huge soil conditioner on the daikon radishes. You know, a lot of those varieties you can get, 2-3 feet deep in the soil, and it cracks and it breaks that clay, so it allows for deeper moisture and organic matter and nutrients back to it. So yeah, I've used it for a cover crop for many years in bad soil. Oh yeah, arugula is good all around. I mean, you can use arugula for anything, from pizza to salads, sandwiches. I was doing a video in the greenhouse. I was talking about avocados and tomatoes, and we like to make avocado tomato sandwiches around here. Spices, seasoning, thin slicing, onions, and things like that. And I got like a crap ton of messages about an avocado and tomato sandwich, and how I do it. So throwing arugula on it actually just made me think of that whole thing. So not to get off track, it happens. Elevate, your Facebook page is bigger than mine because I canceled my Facebook back in 2010. And oh, sweet, the way Mike does in his videos. I like Mike's. Get that up there. I hate when I push the button. Oh, there we go. Now, delay. There we go. Yeah, I mean, anyone in here who's new and hasn't checked out, definitely, check out his page on YouTube. Keep on Growing with Mike Van Doozy. Like his hydroponics. Actually, there's a interview in my videos with him if you guys want to check that out and bounce over to his page and he's seen it. I love his little hydro setups, man. They're ingenious and sweet and compact. I mean, to grow with. I mean, he's almost got me convinced to, do a little setup here in the trailer over the winter, so we can keep in the trailer. So that's the hardest part. I mean, is keeping going in a year-round schedule unless you've got, heated, climate-controlled type greenhouses. It's a very cold climate in the winter. Oh, trying to pop it up on the screen. Huge amount of knowledge that are valuable. I mean, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I learn every day. I do feel like I do know of it, even those few things. Even when I think I completely have come to a point where I would call myself a journey that tells me, oh, I still got a little bit to learn here. So, and I mean, personally, I'm living. So I learn something new every day, all the time, and learn that a lot of stuff that sometimes I don't know as much as I thought I knew about it either. And, and it changes with wherever you live, geographical climate, it's all different. Literally, 50 miles north is a completely different growing climate now. So, there's a multitude of things to learn all the time. Avocado, I don't know. Someone drive to California and ask an avocado farmer, because they don't grow out here that stays a consistent 45 to 65 degrees year round. The Crady method, and I didn't even know about the Crady method until talking to Mike, and it's very intriguing. Watching now too, definitely Google the Crady method if you're interested in growing in different varieties and methods, which is what Mike kind of based his whole system off of, which is really, really cool. But the Crady method is I don't know. I think my wife would divorce it. Yeah, we're all pretty convinced that old M's definitely, well, for lack of a better word, not the greatest person in the world. My wife is definitely anti-Facebook. I'm anti-Facebook too, but she just came about Facebook. So if that's any indication, but I do know what you're saying. And things like that, I understand totally where that's coming from, but there's something about it over there, I guess. Who setup that might work great in your area. I saw it. Yeah, are you talking about the Russ Finch? I think he's right near you. I think it's Alliance, Nebraska. I did a lot of research into geo. Want to build a geo air greenhouse out here to be able to grow year round in, and actually grow things like citrus and avocado, because it stays a consistent temperature because of the ground earth temperature. So that is something we definitely want to touch down the road, because trying to step one of those up, a decent sized one with all the equipment, the EPS foam and things like that to insulate the thermal battery and things, and the pipes in the ground, or it can be any dollars to set up 30 by 100 geo air greenhouse. So, but yeah, definitely let me know if it's a Russ. Oh no, I'm talking about tomato and avocado sandwiches. Grow tomatoes, but we can't grow avocados here. I was saying, when I was in the greenhouse, I was replanting tomatoes, because a lot of my tomato plants had died, and that just kind of got me thinking about, because our family just loves tomato and avocado sandwiches. They're delicious.
I don't.
And various ventilation methods. That sounds like a pit style Russ Finch geo air greenhouse. And it's really is ingenious. There's actually a lot of modifications and a lot more research that is a company called Green Cube Research or Green Cube Institute that has done an amount of research on geothermal applications, and they've got probably the largest found so far on geothermal applications, and specifically geo air applications. So if anyone's looking into that or thinking about that, definitely go check out Green Cube for sure. They've got since it's been a minute, I want to double check again. Is the video still choppy and is the audio still clean? How's it looking? I'm sure the video is probably still choppy. Is it still coming through pretty clean?
I know, but I'm ready to go.
Lost my load.
Really
I will think about a Facebook group, but it's going to take a lot of long, hard thinking. People are connected with a lot of other homesteaders and whatnot, and they all say, get on Facebook. There's a lot of homesteading groups. There's a lot of connection up. I don't know. I'll have to mow it over. It's Facebook. So, see, who I was with me? It's literally 11 years ago. So, video's still choppy. Audio is a little choppy. I mean, as long as you can still hear me, I guess you don't have to look at my ugly mug for a few minutes. But it's livable. Livable. Well, that's good. Yeah, phone company out here and see if there's anything they can do, because we have fiber optics out here, which is even more insane that we have fiber optics, but that makes no sense to me at all. I mean, if we have fiber optics out here, are a lot better, right? I mean, I'm not like an IT guy by any means, but yeah, I know light travels information, electrical signal, so, and that's what fiber optics is. It's light, so it should be faster. At least that's my logic. I'm wrong. So, I don't know. But my internet speed upgraded. I think if I had at least 1 megabyte per second upload speed, I think the choppiness would pretty much. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna, because that's kind of something I've thought about. If it'll pop up on the screen here, there we go. If you stick to the worth it, and you know, and that's kind of why I canceled my Facebook in the originally, is because it was all back then. We didn't really have a business type platform, you know, for Facebook. I'm 11, you know, 3-4 years old at that point. So to be able to, like, I guess, stay brand and have a Facebook, you know, and be able to connect with groups and things like that, where it's not like personally, I think that might be something that I could probably get on board with for sure. And I'm assuming, yeah, we do have fiber optics, literally, like our whole valley, they in 6 years ago, but I don't know why the internet's not better than it is. It makes no sense at all. Yes, it's not hardline or wired like that. They put it in. In fact, they did a whole new project just this last year here running the phone company that's 20 miles away all the way up to another town that's like 40 miles away, installing fiber optics. So that's what I don't get. But I would like to think that if I had a Cat 5 cable on my computer and I could into the modem, it would probably be a lot better. But this new laptop I have doesn't have a Cat 5 plug, so I can't even haul Wi-Fi. And that might be the issue, is because everything's going over Wi-Fi. So, but like I said, I don't have a Cat 5 in my laptop that I just got for Christmas, so I can't hardline to my modem unless they make a USB to Cat 5 that you can hook into, but I've never heard of that. I don't know. I just know everyone that I have talked to or lives out in the middle of nowhere, everyone has internet issues like constantly. It just sucks. Upload speeds down. It's always crap. So it is what it is. Now, if I can get better, I'll get better, and I'm working on it. So, because I hate the fact that this is choppy and it's choppy, and you guys tell me it's choppy. So that sucks. It would be nice to have that the video and the audio was completely synced the entire time. That would be pretty awesome. So I think we'll get there one day. I just got to see if the phone company can actually but talking to them is like pulling teeth. I mean, yeah, they'll hound your ass when it comes time to them. It could take a week to get a return phone call from them. So, nature of living out in the middle of nowhere. My modem, it's, I don't know, 15 feet from so. You're the first one that I've physically seen from Tea with Gary Vee thing they talked about. Well, hey, I appreciate that, man. I've tried to follow a few people I've seen on there, but I guess much like you said, they're not following what he said. I mean, I took his words and straight to my gut right off the bat. I mean, he said what I already knew, but just reaffirmed it, me a couple of ideas that I hadn't even thought of that made it easier to do that. And that's why we're here now. And well, yeah, I mean, anyone who doesn't take his advice, especially after personally talking to them, that was a wasted resource and a win to both their lives, in my opinion, because it is what it is. I mean, people just kind of need that kick in the ass, and for me, it was the kick in the ass that I needed. And from there forward, straight ahead. So and that sucks right now, and I'm still doing it. Like, sorry. I mean, I do apologize to everyone out there that the internet sucks, and this is all chopped me from still doing it live. So I apologize that the video does suck, but that's not going to stop me from doing it in any way, shape, or form. So I hope you guys will bear with me as we do get better, and the audio gets better, and the video gets better, and my editing skills get better on other videos and things in our life that we're doing, that we're sharing, get more exciting, because especially, this time of year. And I mean, even like the new baby, insane for us. It was crazy and exciting. Hey, Melinda. Throw you up since you just for popping in, and yes, I'm at least 99.8%, back to capacity of being way better. And thankfully, through that whole process, no one else around me got sick. I was the only one who had to deal. I'm really happy about that no one else got pneumonia along with me. So I'll take that pain healthy. Yeah, live is better than no live for sure. I agree. 20 years ago using smoke signals. I don't know. Me and my buddy still use smoke signals out here. He lives on the other side of the valley and he doesn't have a phone. He's straight old school as hell. And we've thrown up some smoke signals to each other before, and got the mirrors out, flashed each other across, and we're right in the perfect line of sight that it actually works. Oh yeah, elevate. I mean, it is every day, all the time. I learned something new. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000 more times. I learn something new every day. It's crazy. Yeah. And even shit that I thought that I knew and that I knew very well, it'll get thrown at me that, I learned something new about that I didn't know. So, or I just like learning a new trick, something that I already knew a little bit easier, like actually, let me see. Struggling with tomatoes so bad germinating, and I decided people do the paper towel type method, right? Where they stick it in a bag and whatnot. So I came across some info, and I remember who it was, but they take a paper towel and lay it on its side or doubled up and spray it, and then you put the seeds on the edge. So I tried that, and I actually got tomatoes germinated now. I don't know if you guys can fully see that, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, like this is the most tomatoes I've germinated this. I mean, a month ago I put 200 seeds in a tray, and I've got 2 that have germinated. These up in paper towels and put them in a sour cream container with the lid on, and yesterday they started germinating, and now they're all just so. I mean, unfortunately, I'm about 2 months behind on growth for tomatoes this year, but some, without a doubt. Oh, comments are popping off. I'm falling behind here. Hey, who in, man? I appreciate all the questions and hanging out the entire time. That's it's awesome. I really appreciate the other videos and whatnot. Your support is definitely not unnoticed. Thank you again. Taking it back old school and smoke signals, yes. And if you're not learning, you're not living. And if you're not failing, you're not learning at the same time. I made a post, I think it was on Instagram, I think, about failure. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that, if you follow me on Instagram or but I made a post about failure. Failure is how, now I completely forgot how I worded it. I thought it was brilliant. Failure is your tuition towards life. Yeah, failure is your tuition towards your paid for by the cash of life. Yeah, and it is. It was a concept that it was about. It costs money to go back to school. It costs money to go to school, sir. So, over buddies that, if we were learning something new and we failed at it, that was our tuition for learning. So, just really something kind of stuck with me over the years and really resonated is every failure, that's you paid for it with life experience. And I'm grateful for those episodes. My life has just only made me who I am today. And I'm sure many of you out there as well, it's exactly the same scenario. Yeah, you grow from them. It has built you to who you are now. Tony finally comes in here. An hour later, where were you? In your hot tub? Drinking a mimosa? Now I'm going to razz on you. Tony's like one of my, we've known each other for, God, what is it? Well over 25 plus years, 3 years. Holy shit. Yeah, a long goddamn time. And you come in? Now you come in? Dick. Love you, brother. As I'm about to end the live stream because it's been an hour. Unless you guys want me to keep going, I can stay on if you guys want to. Throw one in the comments if you want me to stay on. Doesn't matter. And dude, I need your YouTube link to make you a mod because you're private. Your account's private. Send me your link and then I can make you a mod. So I need your page link. Oh yeah, man. God, since we were 12 years old. So long time. I got to throw this one in. This is funny. We won't call Tina a fat lard. It was just the wife. Seriously, we've gotten the alpacas. She has been dying to have a new alpaca that we could name Tina. Into Napoleon Dynamite, that makes it a little more personal for my wife because a good chunk of Napoleon Dynamite was filmed in half. My wife's family on her mom's side is all from Franklin, Idaho. So, they because all those scenes, the houses, store, gas station, all of that, that was in the movie too. So, but she always wanted to name one Tina. Hopefully, Tina won't be a fat lard. We're chatting about everything, brother. We've gone from fishing in the mountains to limiting agrogreens, to Gary V, to, how do you feel comfortable, Napoleon Dynamite now. So, and the fact that it took you an hour to even hang out. Even John came in before you, dick. Eat your dinner. So that's where we're at. It's been all over the place. A plethora of different conversation topics this evening. Oh, dinner with the fam? You still working, buddy? Or have they cut you off? Oh, showing you guys, but I think my wife stole her. Where is she? Rona! Come here, Rona. Show you guys the new puppy. Oh, Rona. Oh. This is Corona. She's wild. 10 weeks old. Patterdale Terrier. Oh. Hi, Rona. Okay, you're getting... Just for a minute. Say hi. And bye. I think I might have to go outside. The light's better out there. Oh, you're essential? So putting up mirrors is essential, Tony? Elevate, I think I'd be inclined to agree with that. Like, I would only do this live stream for a half hour, and it seems like every time it's at least an hour. Every time. Like, you just lose track of time, and it just happens.
Stop. Oh, she did. No.
But I definitely agree with that, GV. You know, it's not hard to suck up. That happens really quick. Oh. I know my buddy said this is tactless and tasteless, and I probably shouldn't do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I gotta step outside and have a cigarette, guys. I'm sorry. While we do it, or I do it, those mountains back there, or cliff line, it's gorgeous. So all my quick trips run into someone I know. Yeah, every time. Like when I run into the next town over, from where we typically grocery shop, I got a lot of friends out there, and you know, because none of us travel all that often, we always end up running into each other at the store, and it's like a half hour, 45-minute conversation when we just ran there to get bread. Every time. From your boy. Yeah, Tony knows I love him. We've been through way too much for way too long. We've literally known each other for 3/4 of... Yeah, there's not a lot that's going to affect that scenario, that's for sure. And I can't even see how many people are in here. How many people are in here? Going. What are you all up to? I mean, 100% appreciate that you guys, that means a lot. So wait, 4 is better than 0. So 3 new friends and a brother. I'll take it. A campfire with your buddies. Of course, it's about hot tub time, Tony. Turn that thing into a time machine with as much time as you spend in it. Melinda, what was crazy about your day? I'm going to throw that one up on the screen. Good crazy or bad crazy? I would like to know. I hope it was good crazy. Like a bunch of unexpected wild stuff happened. Just completely made your day. Well, elevate. That's awesome. I appreciate that. I was trying to get the live stream set, get a thumbnail, because my program just kept messing up to make a thumbnail. So it was like 10 minutes before, because YouTube's algorithm like set up a live stream for later in the day. It wants you to do it at least 30 minutes. YouTube automatically throws out a notification saying so-and-so is going live in 30 minutes. And then it throws go live. But I didn't meet that timeline, so I'm surprised that, anyone even got a notification, to be honest. Late June? Dude, that's way too late, dude. It's like the hottest part of the year. I mean, it's not a bad time of year because I'm kind of on autopilot and I'm in, mid-June to mid-July, definitely, because everything's just kind of growing. You just got to water it. So, I mean, it's not a horror, grow. Sooner is better to me. What do you mean, elevate? Definitely a different scenario. Was that directed at me or Melinda? Well, that's good that it didn't affect you, Melinda. And it was entertaining. But yeah, work. I was a chemist in a lab and for a corporate mining manufacturing company. Yeah, there was definitely thing was dramatic. Becky sneaking through. There's your face. Yeah, I can relate there. Those, depending on where you work and how many people work there, there's always drama in the workplace. Like the biggest drama here is whether or not the animals are happy and healthy, or the plants are growing properly. Let's throw that up. I do like this software. She has comment and specific comments. I can throw them up on the screen so everyone can see what I'm talking about. I kind of like that. It's not a waste of your time. I wasn't trying to say that my time is more valuable. No, I totally understand. And all our time is valuable. Our time is personally valuable to us, and how we spend it, and whether or not we get value out of that time the most. So if you feel like you got value out of it and you feel like your time wasn't wasted, that, that makes me feel awesome. I don't want anyone to spend time on me if they don't feel like, it was worth their time to do it. Yeah, no one should. So, but I do appreciate everyone's time, coming over and hanging out and chatting. Without a doubt. And I hope you just kind of reiterated that, I don't want to waste your guys' time. So if you don't feel like you're getting value out of it, but I appreciate everyone. Thank you. Oh. What are we rolling on now? Hour and 10? Anyone got a specific topic they want to bring up, or should we all call it a night? I'm losing light. We only got about 10 minutes left before it's too dark for the camera to see me anymore at this point. Rana, why are you whining? Come here, lady. That's a lot. That's why I jumped the gun and started my own handyman business. I find myself unemployable now, and this is now my own, not from anyone else, self-accountability. It is. That's great. I started a couple handyman businesses back in the day too, and I've self-employed my entire life until the crash of 2008. The smart move was to go back to school, which really wasn't the smart move because it just got me in debt, but it did get me a job as a senior chemist. So it wasn't a bad thing that led us to here, but ultimately, like, if you're doing what you love and you don't have to answer to anyone else's bullshit, good on you, brother. Yeah, I would never judge you for that. I've started 100 businesses and failed at 99% of them, but I was doing what I wanted, when I wanted, at the time, how I wanted, so it works. Oh, I feel like we're still rolling. I can still talk, so we don't have to wrap it up. Good luck with your. I've struggled with tomatoes this year, so I have to throw this one up. I mean, I planted tomatoes. Third time was a charm. They finally germinated. I actually got like 20 tomato plants germinating. Now I just got to get them in the soil and off so they actually survive out in full sunlight. So I'm 50% there, but finally got germinated tomatoes. So appreciate you coming in, popping in, all your kind words on comments on YouTube. Thank you. I can say, but thank you. Thank you to everyone. Appreciate it. You repossessed vehicles for 15 years. I had some friends that did that, dude. And that's a gnarly, without a doubt. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories of, guns. People get pissed when the shit gets repossessed, and I understand, the person repoing is only doing their job. The person didn't pay their bills, which is understandable, but it's still, that's a dangerous job. Legitimately, a really gnarly scenario. I was done handyman type knowledge and then gaining more experience every day. Yeah, dude, that's all you can do, brother. Every day is one more day that you now know more than you did the day before. Plain and simple. Well, maybe we'll have to super interesting just because I had friends that did repo work back in the day, and some of their stories that you know, it was like episodes out of like Cops and things like that. Some of the things they were thrown into and they had to deal with were just straight up insane. So if that's something you'd be into, let me know. Either way, we could just chat about it. And that's true. And well, hey, I'll throw out my own repo story. So 2005, I was living in St. George, Utah. I started my third business with a masonry company. And we were doing stonework, doing a lot of Parade of homes. Hey, babe. In southern Utah. And that was like right kind of in that, you know, I won't go into politics, so we'll just throw that out the window right now. But things were looking in the industry, in the construction industry, and the girlfriend I had at the time had just got pregnant, and work was really slowing down. It should have been our sign that the economy was starting to tank at that point, and our business was going downhill. And I had just bought $950 a month with insurance to pay for. And I was a few months behind on the payment. And it was up for repo. That repo dude was that damn good. It was insane. Like, we popped our garage door open. My truck was in there. My dog started just like barking at the garage door insanely. And he was a pit bull boxer mix. Garage door, and I looked into the garage and I was like, what are you barking at, Spike? What's going on? You know, what's happening here? Dude, Spike, there's nothing in there. Like, what are you freaking out about? And I'm not messing around. Later, there was the front door, and a guy was like, hey, is Chris here? Because I need him to sign some forms. I just repoed his truck. Like 12 feet from the garage door and out into the driveway where the garage was, and looked in the garage 3 minutes later. So when my dog was barking and I opened that garage door and I was looking in there trying to calm my dog down, dropping the drive line to roll it down the driveway and put it on his truck. So I'm sure he was sweating bullets at that point. The garage was like 2.5 feet lower than the main level of the house, so you couldn't see under a vehicle. In my drive line, that's the only logical scenario that I can figure, to roll my truck out and put it on the repo truck. But that was, at this point, 20 years ago now. So just a little story repo reminded me of my own repo scenario. We should try to do live with others for sure. And just let it run. No, I agree. Like, I've gotten on here, at least as I have done, I've asked people in the chat if they want to be sent a link. I can send a link from StreamYard, and if we'll chat or ask a question live, I can send a link in, much like Gary Vee does, and bring people in, you know, testing it directly through the chat. So, you know, and I would actually prefer that, you know, the live engagement, so I can in their reactions, their facial expressions, things like that. It's, you know, because you can only glean so much from a text. If people are being snarky or sarcastic or things like that, you know, especially if they're not using emojis, it's hard to tell or see emotionally conveying in that moment, you know, unless you personally know that person, much like Tony, who came on, Tony. So when he writes a text, I know exactly what he's saying, you know, but people, you know, like LA, you know, I've never seen your face, so I don't know what your actual level of humor is, what, you know, what you find serious, you don't find serious, a little more difficult. So I do want to get into something like that where if people do or aren't afraid to or self-conscious to ask live questions about homesteading, about the farm, about animals, you know, or about fucking fishing. I don't give a shit, you know. I would really love to do something like that and bring people on just to chat, or that's your job, you know. You work at a fucking advertising company and fucking, you know, Dana's being a bitch that day and why she's down for that too. I've been to St. George, dated girls. Will tell you that without a doubt. Like Utah breeds, and that's probably a bad way to put it. Maybe I should rephrase. There are a lot of very, very, very physically attractive, middle-aged women, old women in Utah. But in St. George specifically, per capita, especially when I lived there, it's insane. But it's like a Coppertone commercial. It's, you know, the guys were the same. Everyone looked like they just came out of P90X with a bronze coat on them. So I know what you're saying. I love saying. It only takes 20 seconds. That's what she said. I got a car once from a gas station and from someone who just, dude, that's slick, man. That's slick because, well, I have a CCW permit, so, and it doesn't leave me, so that's it. Yeah, it is. Well, no, it's stressful when you're the linkage under a vehicle, and that's who repoed my truck. He was in my garage under my truck when I opened the door and my dog was barking. Like, to be sweating, you know, but you got to stay calm in a tough moment. Next, it's way easy to do, and it's even easy to do with people that you know, because sometimes they could be acting like they're facetious, but just being passive aggressive. You don't know. And I'll throw that up for everyone. Super sarcastic, blunt, outspoken. I'm the same way. You know, it was sometimes. No, I mean, being genuine. 99% of everyone in the world can sniff out a fake ass motherfucker every time. Plain and simple. You know when someone is playing into your emotions or just saying things they think you want to hear, you know, just to try to gain some level of camaraderie with you. And we all know when someone's being fake. We can all see when someone's being fake, and it does no good to even attempt to be. Most people can sniff it out right off the bat. Plain and simple. Oh yeah, the best part of going to Utah was going to Zion. No, dude, Zion's fucking sick. When I lived there, I used to climb a lot. I climbed a lot, and that's when I gained my problem climbing. At the point before my daughter was born, I was climbing a 512B consistently, but I did a shot in Zion's, which almost ruined me for climbing. You know, I didn't climb for a year after I did that big wall. They call it space shot for a reason, because it goes over a big arch system. So after your fourth pitch, at the bottom of the fifth pitch, his cards to work over the arch system. And once you're at the top of the fifth pitch, you cannot rappel out. Otherwise, you'll be out in open space and there's nowhere to go but down and die, which is why they called it space shot. But when me and my first big wall, the previous weekend, a dude died on it right before, and we saw the tree where he died because they got caught in a storm, and they tied what is called the Euro death knot, which is basically just an overhand knot on the two wrap out in one rappel instead of two rappels. But if you tie the Euro death knot, you're supposed to leave at least 18 inches of the tail on both, tendency to slip as weight is put on it. And he tied it too short trying to make it to the bottom. And he got halfway through, not slip, and he pummeled to his death, which did not make that climb easier for any of us while we're doing it, because which sucked. And it took us 2 days longer than we anticipated doing it, and we ran out of water second day, so we were dehydrated. But my buddy on that head wall on the fifth pitch out, you know, you got to put a couple of pieces in, some hexes, a couple micro cams, and then you have a piton ladder, rickety as hell. And he got above the piton ladder where he was placing some hexes and some micro nuts and micro cams, and he foot whipper and almost decked back to the belay station. And that freaked us all out. But we were at the point, we had no choice. We had to keep going to get off the climb. And so we kept going. We all freaked out at that point. And it took us 2 more days to get to the 9th pitch. And it's an 11 pitch, 10 or 11 pitches. It's something like 980 or 1080 or 1080. And we finally made it to what they call the Earth Orbit Ledge, which is just this slender ledge that slopes cliff, which unfortunately everyone pisses on when they get there. And that's where we slept that night. So freaking out, we're out of water, our portal edge is flapping in the wind, blowing us with binoculars. Their girlfriends are, you know, calling the rangers, trying to find out, already 2 days past the time of our permit when we were supposed to be down off the climb. We're out of water. It was an epic journey. And I almost did not climb ever again after. So I'm done with that tangent. You brought up Zion, and it reminded me of Space Shot. Real recognize real for sure, and the only ones that's being fake. Well, yeah, and the ones being fake, like they think they're fooling people, and knows they're being fake, except for the person who's being fake. They think they're fooling everyone, and they're not. Like, so you should stop because everyone else in the world knows you're being fake. Listen here. Yeah, I think it is. I went off on the Zion tangent on Space Shot, and it looks like it's just me and you, buddy. But you hanging on from pretty much the get go. But let's call it a night, buddy. I need to eat some dinner and yes. So, but I do like. I appreciate all your comments, the interaction. You know, that was great. That was awesome. And you brought up a lot of good things that reminded me of a lot of things in my past that I hadn't thought of, and it was awesome for me. I hope it was the same for you. With that, you know, yeah, you got to eat too. So I'm gonna say good night, everyone. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for all the questions and your perspectives. I appreciate it. And good night, everyone.